The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to another Goldmine 101, our regular series of short presentations, giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of Goldmine CRM. And this afternoon, I'm going to cover considerations for top fields in your Goldmine system. Hello, my name is Tim Wilmot, and my company, Wizard Systems, we're a specialist CRM system supplier, independent CRM system supplier. And we help small and mid-sized organizations improve their sales productivity, marketing, and customer service through the use of simple and affordable software solutions like Goldmine. This presentation will be about 10 minutes or so in duration, just an overview of some ideas around key information you may want to hold in your CRM system about your leads, prospects, customers, and partners. My company offer extensive support services to help you and advise you to go even further for tracking more detailed information about your clients. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel. I'll do my best to answer those at the end. Probably best to type them in as you think of them. And in fact, as this afternoon's presentation is all about these fields, perhaps you'd like to type into that chat box or question box some of the key fields, just a few of the key fields that you keep in your own Goldmine system. I'll read those out at the end to share them with other Goldmine users. I'll just read out your first name to protect your identity. Also at the end, I'll be giving you an update on any Goldmine product news we have for you. This call is being recorded. After the presentation, you will receive an email with a link to the recording, which you can share with your colleagues, and we'll most likely post it up on our YouTube channel as well. Okay, so let's get started. Just a brief mention about Wizard Systems. We are a top supplier of Goldmine and other CRM systems worldwide. We have heavily focused on Goldmine, and we offer a total service around the system, upgrades, new systems, add-ons to Goldmine, customization, integrations. We provide any kind of training, any sort of level that you would require or want with Goldmine. And this training can be at your place or our location, Bristol, UK, or we can do it online if that suits you best. And finally, we've got a responsive help desk here ready to answer your calls. Okay, so let's get into Goldmine then and talk about key information you may want to track about your clients. So what I'm talking about here is not the key contact information that, of course, you'll be maintaining in your CRM system, the person's name, the company name, the organization name, contact information, phone numbers, email addresses, website information. But after that, how do you profile and categorize your customers? And this information, apart from who is this person and maybe their organization if you're B2B, but after that primary information, what else do you need to track to help you manage your clients more efficiently, to maybe assist you in doing reporting from the system, maybe to help you do marketing in a more targeted way to your prospects and customers, maybe to decide ownership of this record. If you've got a sales team, maybe you want to allocate ownership of this record based on the territory or the market sector or the product interest of your customer. So here's just some ideas for you. This is not to say this is right. Everyone is different. Every organization has got different requirements or different objectives for using a CRM system. We're just explaining what could be some of the key bits of information and our top 5. So first of all, in the type field here, right in the middle there, I've got customer. So what is the relationship of this company to your company? And there'll be a drop-down list, and you can describe that in any kind of way you want to. I know some people, some of our other customers, they will track if this is a customer, whether they're an active customer or a lapsed customer or even a new customer. So that would define what is the relationship of this company to yours. Maybe you're tracking suppliers and other partners in your CRM system as well. Goldmine is very flexible. It's entirely up to you. But that's a good idea to maintain that information. Secondly, this top field here, secondly, what is the primary interest of that customer? So you may have that described fully, full sort of text response. You may have it coded. So if you've got lots of products, maybe you would abbreviate them to maybe 2 or 3 characters, just to help you. Of course, with Goldmine, you can put in multiple entries into this field, just by a comma between these entries, similar to many other applications where you can put in multiple entries or keywords with a comma and a space between them. Thirdly, what market sector? What does this company do? How close a fit is it to what your company does and the products and services that you do? And as I say, that there are associated with all of these fields a pick list which you define that will display in alphabetical order the common entries for that field. You can also give your users a little bit of a helpful hint at the top of the title bar of the pop-up window there. And there might be a catch-all as well. So if you don't know which market sector this particular person is in, if I scroll down to the bottom of this one, eventually we will come to, says here, let me just move this up a bit. Eventually we'll come to, there it is, unknown. So you might want to put that in there if at this stage you are not aware and you just want to keep the momentum going of entering in a record. I should say that some of these fields can be required. So this, a lot of you listening to this, if you're active Goldmine users, you will know that a red border around the data entry indicates a required field. And if you click into that, if you're typing in a new record, you're amending it, you've got there's some kind of validation behind that field. Why? Because there might be some important fields in your Goldmine system that it'll be really important because they're tracking some kind of process, because they're very important from a reporting point of view. They're mission critical. They're important for marketing. It may be important to make sure that there's some kind of validation going on from that drop-down list to make sure that the correct entry is going in. Now, fourthly, as well as we knowing, hopefully, what is the relationship of this company or person to us, maybe we want to know what perhaps the customers go through some kind of process with you. So that's the idea behind this field here too. Essentially, and the way that this is defined is that there's a number prefix with a very brief description of what that number represents. And basically, the higher the number, the more important that person or that company is to your organization. With dead meaning they've been qualified out, they're not suitable for you, or they're not interested. For example, not a prospect yet could be defined as a suspect. I know some people do use the word suspect as a bit of terminology before they become a qualified prospect. So you might have gone to an exhibition or a show, you've acquired some data, some visitors, but you don't yet know what good a fit are they to your company, your products and services. You might define them as a suspect. So that could be sort of slipped in there. But just some ideas about some basic terminology. I know you can also do this as part of the opportunities. So there's the status of the client, and then in Goldmine or any CRM system, there may be one or many projects or opportunities on the go with that customer, and they too may be going through a different cycle, a different sequence of processes or stages which you define in the Goldmine opportunity management system. And they could be different to this, of course. So we could have, for example, number 7 here, a repeat customer, an active customer, someone who has been with us a long time, but a new inquiry has popped up, and in the opportunity, that would be an early stage. However you might define it, and that doesn't need to be the same as this, of course. So just some ideas there to rank how important that lead is. I know on some of our previous webinars, we have introduced or mentioned the concept of lead scoring. So basically a very simple algorithm or background calculation that could be relatively simply set up in your Goldmine CRM system to automatically calculate how important that customer is based on key factors like the strength of contact details, activities, sales, or whatever the criteria might be. So our fifth and final idea for key fields to have in a CRM system is the salesperson, manager, agent, rep, whatever you call it. Of course, all these labels can be changed, and you can move them around on the screen as well. These 5 fields could be right in the top left corner if you really want them to. And you can decide the sequence of those fields as well. So if you're using the tab key on your keyboard, you can define the sequence of fields that you go through when you're entering a new record or amending an existing record. So there we are, some ideas there of some custom fields, top fields to have in a Goldmine system. What is the client interested in? What's the relationship? What did they do? What's the stage of negotiations? Who looks after them? We know of some clients that have also multiple salespeople. There may be someone in business development that opens up the account, and then you may have an account manager that looks after them ongoing. So there may be 2 people, or a telemarketing person that may be different from, say, the account manager. So it's possible to maintain multiple ownership fields just like that. So I hope that's been of interest to you. Now I'd like to open out our call to any questions you've got around this, or indeed any other aspect of Goldmine. So first question from Terry: how do you make fields mandatory? So as an administrator, you've got to be a master user, as they call it in Goldmine. You can go into edit the fields or change the properties of the field, and there is a required entry checkbox. You can also around that field define a drop-down list. If someone wants to deliberately leave the field empty, you can give them a get out of jail card to allow them to put in a very basic reason about why they left that particular field blank. Lindsay says we use account number, and then we can tell if it's a customer or not. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, if it's filled in, then there be some indication of transactions there. If it's blank, then we assume they've never dealt with you before. Good idea. Alan, we have a contract date. So yeah, if you're into contracts, I suppose the question might be, if a customer has more than one contract, how would you track that? So maybe, Alan, you can come back to me on that. But yeah, that's a good idea. But contract dating is pretty key information. If contracts, looking after clients, that contract is quite important, particularly if you're using Goldmine CRM for customer service as well. That's a pretty important bit of information to have. Okay, thanks, Alan. Yeah, okay, there's just one contract. All right. Ross, serial number, because we use different types of records. Are you okay? So you're referring to a feature of Goldmine called record typing, not often used, and it is possible. So with Goldmine, you're normally, just for anyone else's benefit, with Goldmine, you're normally tracking information about companies and contacts, people that you're servicing, but it is possible to also maintain records about things, like maybe you're supplying very expensive machinery and you need to know where is that machine, who is it owned by, when are you, all the activities against it as well. So that's quite a good idea of using record typing. It's a part of Goldmine. Not often used, I would say, because sometimes you may be tracking assets in another application, possibly. But if you're not, it's far better than tracking it in an Excel spreadsheet for sure. So Goldmine could accommodate, tracking information. Yeah, good idea, Ross, on that one. Question from Haley. I saw the lead scoring. How do you set that up? Basically, Haley, it depends. Okay, to answer, it depends how complex you want, how sophisticated, should I say, you want to get in your calculation of that field. There is a feature of Goldmine called the lookup.ini. This is a background configuration file where you can get Goldmine to automatically place or calculate a value in one field based on the entry in other fields. So very simply, maybe if you're typing in records without a company name, or it doesn't have a postcode, or it doesn't have a phone number, or it doesn't have a job title, you could score that lead a much lower value than if someone had all those fields completed. So it's a bit of a combination of the lookup.ini. Let me just see if I've got something defined here. Yeah, here we go. So this is a way of doing it. So with that lookup.ini, we've got these different fields that we're tracking in our Goldmine system. So it's either 1 if it's got that information, or a 0 if it hasn't. My email here says 0 because this person has got a Gmail address, which we may score more lowly than say someone who's got a proper company domain. So if they're Hotmail, BT Internet, Yahoo, Gmail, it may give the indication of perhaps a private individual. And if you're B2B, you want to score more highly a proper email address. So basically the combination of all that. There could be other factors as well. I know in this system we do go into history. So when was the most recent activity with this customer? Of course, we could be tracking that on the summary tab of the client's record. We've got some indication there of activity levels. When did we last amend this record? When did we last have a positive contact with this customer based on an appointment, a phone call, or an email? That would be also another consideration to add to that lead scoring field. There may be a blog article on that, Haley. I'm pretty sure we've done this a few times on our regular 101 sessions. We may revisit this again, but hopefully that's given you some information It's the lookup.ini field, basically, lookup.ini file, I should say, in Goldmine that's doing the background calculations for you. Right. Don't think there's any more questions coming through. So thanks very much, all of you, for those great questions. Hopefully they were the right answers for you. So next Goldmine training dates, next week on Thursday, we've got an introductory Goldmine training course. If you've got any new starters in your company, great to send them to us for normally a day, and we'll go through all the basics day-to-day functions of Goldmine. The latest release of Goldmine is 2019.1. You get releases by being on a maintenance contract. As regards what's coming up, so there is work being done on email authentication security that will be coming out this summer. Goldmine are also working on a 64-bit Office integration. So that's the integration with Outlook, Word, and Excel. So there's not many CRM systems that are able to create Word documents or Excel spreadsheets and merge information, contact information into that document or Excel template. Goldmine can, but hitherto it's only worked with a 32-bit implementation of Office. I'm not sure what the default implementation is for Microsoft Office, but I do know of some people that have gone down the 64-bit route, and it's they've had to go back to 32-bit to make the Goldmine integration work. So that is, fingers crossed, coming. And also coming in the summer is Html5 support. So HTML features in many places in Goldmine, email, the GM Plus View tab, which is basically a web page in Goldmine where you can display custom information in that. Let me just see, there's another question coming in from James. Anything in the pipeline for Office 365 integration? Yeah, that should be, okay, well, there's different options on 365 integration. We do sell an add-on option for Goldmine called Riva. You'll find it up on our website. Basically, this does an automated integration with 365 and Exchange, primarily for Outlook, for email and calendar integration, automatic. With the options with Goldmine, the built-in integration with Goldmine, there are a few limitations I mentioned. And yeah, it will link with G Suite and Gmail as well, James. It's called Riva. It is a product that you subscribe to, but it's actually installed on your server. And there is a price per user that wants it, James. I'll email you details afterwards. But it's a very popular solution for a Goldmine user that wants more automated integration with Exchange, Cloud Exchange, and also 365, and also G Suite as well. Right, so HTML5 support coming up. As always, to get updates on Goldmine, you've got to have a maintenance contract. So make sure your company has one of those in place with Wizard Systems. An annual maintenance contract based on the cost of that is based on the number of licenses you have. And these updates do need to be installed or applied to your system. They will not happen automatically. They need to be installed. If you are fairly up to date on Goldmine, it's quite simple for you to apply the upgrade yourself and update your workstations. There's a workstation component to Goldmine. You may have offline users of Goldmine that need to be upgraded as well, on or about the same time. If that is too much for you, for whatever reason, don't have the resource time to do it, then Wizard Systems do offer an upgrade service for you. We can do that for you. So that brings us to the end of this afternoon's call. Hopefully that's been of interest to you. If you can think of any other good suggestions, or interesting topics for CRM and Goldmine that would be of interest to the Goldmine community out there, please let me know, tim@wizard-systems.com. So thanks very much for your time. Watch out for a link to the recording. If any late questions come through, I will answer those separately by email. But thanks very much for your time and speak to you soon.